Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. If you could just tell me your name, where you're from, and just anything that you'd want to put out there about yourself, I would love that.
My name is Ryedell Davis. I am from Syracuse, New York. Like I said before, I'm a father, businessman, a son, community member, community leader. That really sums it up. Other than a child of God, that's really it.
Okay, I love that. So we met like 2015, maybe 16, 17, around that area.
Yeah.
And I think it was through Rashawn Sullivan because I showed up to Ryedell because I saw the T-shirt
Yes.
from way back in the day.
Yep.
Tell me, where'd you go to, like, elementary school, high school? Like, have you always been a Syracuse person?
Yes. I went to Dr. King as elementary, middle school. I went to Lincoln Middle School, and for high school, I graduated from Henniker High School.
Nice. Okay. I'm a Nottingham guy, so. What year were you?
2003.
Oh, okay. Did you know Nottingham people at all or no?
Yeah, like I know people from every high school, and then I went to SU, graduated there in 2007. So
Okay.
I've always been local.
What did you go for?
Human services, health professions, African American studies, and early education. So I was a triple major.
Okay. What kind of brought you to those subjects specifically?
I love working with children. I love doing anything that's empowering the community, and I always believe that you have to start with the children first, because usually once they get to a certain age, it's not impossible to get them, but it becomes a little bit more difficult. So I learned that the earlier you can get them, the better.
Okay. So you've been in Syracuse your whole life. You know, like the community. You're part of the community. You're part of
Yes.
Okay. So, tell me kind of about like what's life all about for you?
Right now, life is about building my family and also building my spiritual as well. That has been one of my biggest focus right now, just building myself spiritually to a level where I am peaceful with every decision that I make, by allowing God to be the main focus of everything. Other than that, it's just, like I said, leaving a legacy for my family, making sure that every day they wake up, they are happy with the decisions that dad make, or my mom is happy with decisions that her son makes, or my friends are happy with decisions that their friend makes. So those are the big things to me right now.
I feel like when it comes to faith, people who come to that space kind of, I wouldn't call it like a rebirth, but like I feel like there's times in life where you kind of reassess and something happens or things happen or family happens or thoughts happen where you kind of just, it brings you closer to whatever faith that you practice is. Is that the case with you when you speak about this?
A little bit. I've always been in faith because my grandmother was heavy into it. She always encouraged us out to just gain our own understanding, to go to church, read, study. And as I got older, I did fall away, but I never forgot my roots. But I didn't always attend service, didn't always pray, didn't always read the Bible and things like that. So as you get older, you begin to gain a better understanding and start to realize why things around you are actually happening, and starting to realize, like, I don't always feel that we are in control of everything. I believe that things happen in order to open our eyes to certain things. So I'm glad that things have happened the way that it has, in order to open my eyes, like, where I'm actually really needed, and that is in the community, to do more community work. But a lot of the stuff that I do, I don't like praise. I like God to get all the praise. I like Jesus to get all the praise. So I'll do things for people, and I'm stern on, please don't let nobody know. I just don't want that attention, because it's a blessing that's not coming from me. It's coming through me, but it's not coming from me.
So I feel like that's like kind of a more rare perspective. Like it's a more rare perspective for people in general to take that. Can you pinpoint a moment where that really became important to you and where it really kind of filled you to do that?
I guess just seeing You got families die. When my grandmother died, that really opened up my eyes because even though, like I said, I always had that understanding of faith, just seeing her pass away opened up my eyes to really realize how short life really is and to understand why we are actually truly here. So just seeing, even though she was over 90 when she died, that's just a limited amount of time that we have. So with my grandmother, she always just maximized her time, like with spending time with family, spending time with friends, and those are a lot of the things that I was not doing. So, but when seeing her pass away, I realized like, I have to get everything that I need under wraps. Like, even though I have a great relationship with my mom, my children, family, and all that stuff, I need better relationship with them, more time with them, because everything else was spent on running a business, taking care of everybody else, making sure everybody else is happy. But the people that I really needed to keep happy, the people that I needed really to take care of, they were on the back burner because I'm going home to my kids every day. But the relationship with them is very important. So this is why after my grandmother died, like I had to realize like, understand time ain't forever. So you have to maximize this time that you have with your family, things that you do in the community, things that you do for people. Like just make, like I said before, just making sure that they are always happy with the decisions that they see their father making or my mom see her son making.
What where was your grandmother from, and where did she grow up?
My grandmother is from Illinois, but they grew up here. So she knew Michael Jordan mom, Michael Jordan them, all of them personally. So she grew up down in the bricks, what they call it Central Village now. I have 9 aunts and uncles, and she did it, majority of it on her own. She always brought the word to them as well. So they were definitely all heavy within the church. So that was definitely a cornerstone of our family was faith, religion, and things like that.
What do you think kind of defined faith being, like, I'm sure, like the number one, but what other things defined your grandmother in her life?
Friendship, loyalty, love, her commitment to her community. But one of the biggest things was just her friendships. I was just seeing like she was friends with people for 40, 50, 60 years and always talking with them, laughing and joking and giving back to people. Like I remember times when I was younger and I would go to her house and I would bring a friend with me. So I'd be like, Grandma, can I get $20? But every time she give me money, I had to give it to some to my friend. It would get me upset as a child. Like, why do I have to give what you just gave to me to my friend? But as I got older, you realize, like, no one is left behind. So if you want this $20 only by yourself, then don't bring nobody with you. But if that is your friend, then you make sure your friend is good as well. And that was something that she definitely held very tight, like making sure that everyone around her was good.
Did she have a saying or things she would say over and over, or things that were her lines that kind of you remember to this day?
Oh man, ooh, what can I think of at the moment? I know she would always say, "Take care of my mother." That was one big thing. Like everybody just felt that my mother was her favorite, but she always would tell me to take care of my mother. And she would always say, "I know I'm not gonna be here forever, so just cherish me while I'm here." That was one thing that really stuck out that she would say, like, I'm not gonna be here forever. No one is. So just appreciate me while I'm here. And that's what I did. Like I just appreciated that woman. Like I appreciate the ground that she walked on. Anything she needed, if I had it, she had it.
So you grew up in the bricks, or did you grow up in other places in Syracuse?
I was born in the Pioneer Homes. Then after my stepfather passed away, we moved to the west side of Syracuse. And then we moved to the bricks, and then that's where we resided.
Okay. Do you have like a favorite side of the city, or?
No, I enjoy each side of the city because have different experiences with different people on every side of town. Like, I don't claim anywhere,
Okay.
but I know where I was born and raised. I know where a majority of my friends is at. But I can go on any side of town and be comfortable because I have relationships and friendships with people on every side of town. Like, I don't really believe in a block. I believe in my town.
I feel like, so I met Rashawn Sullivan, I think 2017-ish, 18-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he always spoke highly of you. And I feel like
I appreciate that.
you have your finger on the pulse of the community in general. What do you see? What would you want people to know?
I would like people to know that it's bigger than us. Like, even if we're looking at the violence that's going on, like, we're fighting over territory that we don't own. We are diminishing our community in ways that sometimes it's difficult to come back from. Too many families are affected. Too much trauma is being rehashed every time a loved one is lost through gun violence, even if it's just a stabbing or fighting or like all this stuff is just just diminished our community. Like, the things that we need, the love that we need to have, it just consistently keep going backwards. And in order for any of this to stop, we have to start with love. This is why, like I said, with the relationship with my grandmother, that was one thing that she just preached was love.
I feel like every once in a while people will say things, actually not once in a while, but people will say things that will resonate with me. And what you just said, which is we're fighting over territory we don't own. That's a strong statement. Yeah.
We don't, like, the average person who's fighting over these territories, their family don't own property in those areas. You gotta think about it. The bricks, it's owned by Syracuse Housing Authority. No one owns any property in that area. No one owns any of those apartments. Syracuse Housing Authority owns that. The federal government give grants to Syracuse Housing Authority to run that. So no one owns it.
Do you I feel like it takes a certain mind and a certain spirit to be able to navigate while not becoming involved, but also have the respect that you have and also have the kind of the pull and you're like they could call it like a Syracuse celebrity. Like, people know you, everybody knows you. So how did that happen and what is that like?
For one, I don't even see it that way. I think it's just the respect of being who I am at all times. I know a good friend of mine, I'm not going to disclose his name. I know he did over 10 years in federal prison. And one thing he said to me when he got out was like, yo, you was the realest one out of all of us. No matter what we have done to protect this neighborhood or things like that, you always remain Rydell. You went to school every day. You walked up and down the hill to SU every day. Even with everything that we did, you never was enticed to do it. Like, you was never enticed to go fight for a block. You was never enticed to go do anything reckless. And these are my friends. Like, I'm around them all the time. But he said you always was just you. Like, you never did anything other than just be Ryedell.
For the young kids out there who know you, who know who you are, and either don't know your journey or do, but what would you say to them about how you took that path for yourself when they don't have necessarily a lot of role models who did the same or who do the same?
I have to give a big shout out to my mama, because my foundation within my home was superb. I had my uncles always around. I had my grandmother around, my aunts, my uncles. Like, my foundation of my family played a very big part of it. I cannot just say that it was the easiest thing to do, because I know a lot of my friends did not have that foundation. They did not have those consistent positive influence every single day. Like, when I woke up, I see my mother. When I went to sleep, I see my mother. My mother read to us at night. My mother would go over homework with us. My mother would make sure that we got to the center. She would make sure we got home. We was home before the street lights came on. Like, all this stuff was very important. Like, the foundation is the most important part. So I can tell a child that be yourself and all that good stuff. But I have to understand the foundation first. Because if that cornerstone is messed up in their life, it may not have good results for them. Because they can have the great experience while they are in school, but when they get home, they have all the bad representation of everything that they're not supposed to do. It's very hard to get these children to think different when they don't have a consistent flow of positive individuals around me. Like, you gotta understand, I wake up every day when I was a little kid to go to school. When I leave from school, I go to the youth center. Positive male influences, positive female influences. Those individuals made sure that I did my homework. After that was the free time, but they made sure I got home. They had a relationship with my mother. My mother could call them. They could call my mom. Like, this was the cornerstone of how Rydell became Ryedell. Rydell had those individuals. This is why it's going to take our community to step up, because it's not just the parents' responsibility. Like, these children need positive influences, even when they just walk into the corner store. Like, me going to the corner store, you'll have people in the neighborhood. You went to school today? Yeah. Like, all that is very important. Like, I can tell a kid to be yourself and all that stuff, but you have to understand the foundation in which they are growing up in first, because that plays a vital role.
Do you feel like that has been lost or diminished over the generations to the young kids today? And if so, what are the reasons behind that, and what are the thoughts on that for you?
It has diminished, and there are a variety of reasons. The households aren't in tune. A lot of households don't have the adequate amount of love flowing through them. A lot of parents are stuck with working 2-3 jobs just to take care of their household. So to do the necessary things that some kids want, like far as reading a book to them, or sitting down baking cookies with your kids, or cooking in the kitchen with your children, you can't do because you have to pay your bills. Like, what's more important? Like, we know what's more important than spending time with your children, but I can't spend time with my children on a curb. I gotta work. So now you got a single parent, usually, I'm not saying that they all are single parent, working 2 or 3 jobs to take care of their household. So now they can't do all the things that they need to do for their children. So now, who's there to be those positive influences while mom or dad is at work? If they don't have that, that's going to be the problem. But it always get pushed back on the parent and stuff like that. But we have to look at all of it. Like, we all have to be a positive influence in these children's lives, not just the parent. Like I keep saying with me, mostly everyone that I was around played a positive role in the upkeep of Ryedell. Even if it's just a conversation. It wasn't no, oh, you soft for not wanting to go run behind your friends who doing reckless stuff. None of that. But these children are hear that now, like, oh, you soft because you don't want to go do this. Oh, you soft because you don't want to go do that. I didn't have that.
The age range you're in right now, do you have friends that you grew up with that the way you look at it aren't there for the kids the way that you think they should be? And is that hard to have friends like that? Do you have conversations with them? Do they hear you? What is that like?
Seeing now, at the age that I am now, I see a lot of my friends who have went through a lot of the knucklehead stages that they were in. I see a lot of them starting to gravitate to the children because they want to catch them before it gets too late. So, yes, we always have those conversations. Like, I got a good friend of mine who's always doing book bag giveaways. He has a Halloween event coming up. So he's one person that is always doing something. And he would tell you his backstory of how he grew up with things and stuff like that. But I'm starting to see a resurgence of people who may have went through the knucklehead stage, I call it, and they're starting to try to come back and give back to these children before it goes too far. Because like I said, once people start dying and stuff like that, like families are affected in a way that sometimes they can't bounce back from. Like you don't know those parents who have lost children, like that trauma that their mother or father is dealing with. I don't know how long they're going to be in that traumatic stage. Like that's something that you can't tell a person it's going to be okay with. Like they lost a baby. This mother has lost that child that she birthed. This father has lost his child that he watched grow up. So it's hard to tell them that it's okay. So I'm glad that these individuals who may have caused some of the chaos in the city of Syracuse back in the day are trying to step up and do things with the children.
Who's if you don't mind shouting him out, who's the person that does the book bag?
I know Bald. My good friend of mine, his name Baldy. His real name is Amethyst. He does a lot of community work. Like I really respect what he does. Like I know, like when I was younger, I was doing a lot more, like on the forefront of it. Like now, I just be in the background. Like if you need something, I got you. Like I just don't like the praise anymore of any of the community stuff. But he is one person that I see that is actually like, I'm talking about standing tall and doing things in the community. I know over the summer before school came back, he was taking new shoes or gently used shoes and giving them back to children. I think it was 1 or 2 years ago, I was with him at Dr. King and did it, and you just see hundreds of families coming out. I'm talking about they are appreciative of these gently used clothing and shoes that they're getting back. Like, we don't understand, like, the things that we may not cherish. There are families who see this as gold. Like, they cherish these things. So just seeing stuff like that is just make me realize, like, there are people who do want to see the positive in the community. So like I said before, like I do start to see people that's in my age bracket starting to try to step up a little bit more, but we definitely need all hands on deck.
Is it Baldy Hunter? Is his
Yes,
last?
yep.
So I remember him from way back when. So he's the one of the ones who's made like a noticeable change?
Yes, big change. Like I tell him all the time, like I see it, like even with the way he love on his children, like it's amazing. Like just seeing the growth. Like you gotta understand, like you come from an era where there wasn't those positive influence every single step that you went or every place you went to, and sometimes we just gravitate to the knucklehead things that our friends do. But as of now, I just see him just growing, and it's beautiful to watch. Someone that you grew up with just starting to just take on being positive in the community, because that's what these children actually need. Like I believe if every male took between 4 to 5 hours out their week and went inside of a school for free, just 4 or 5 hours a week, you will see a big change in every single school in the city of Syracuse.
How I feel like if I was in an environment nonstop where I saw lives being lost, especially younger people's lives being lost, I can't imagine what kind of, I don't know if the word would be trauma, but it's the closest thing that I can come up with a word that would describe that. Like how do you grow up through that, seeing that, understanding that, and then living through that, and how do you remedy that to be somebody who can keep moving forward and doesn't let that take you out?
For me personally, I have to speak for myself. I believe that my relationship with God and my cornerstone of having God in my life was a big part of it. Knowing that eventually all of our lives are going to have to end. Some going to end earlier than others. I know one thing my grandmother used to always tell me is that the graveyard is not selective on who it takes. You can have baby caskets or caskets for men that's 11 feet tall. Like it does not be selective on who it takes. And she's always telling me, like, you have to be mindful of how you live your life, because some people's lives are cut short because of some things that they may have done, and I feel no one has the right to play God. But I also feel that some people don't like to face the reality of what is actually going on in our community and why these things are actually happening. It's a lack of resources that's in our community. There's a lack of consistent positive leadership. There's a lack of consistent positive people in these children's lives. So these things are results of all the things that are missing inside of our community. Like if you look at the word communities, it means common unity. It's actually really no unity at the end of the day.
Do you, I'm sorry. Do you when you look at your life and you look at everything that you've ever experienced, what do you want your existence to kind of resonate at this point in your life?
Is that I enjoy being Rydell, and that I enjoy doing for people without having them like on me. Like I enjoy doing things in the community. I enjoy making sure that families eat inside of their home for Thanksgiving, or families get things for Christmas, and some families get stuff for the school year to start off. But I don't want the light on me, because people did these things for me. Like, no, I didn't never have like where people bought me clothes or food and stuff like that. But those interactions that those positive role models had on me, it's like that. It's like getting a meal on Thanksgiving in the home, because that interaction helped steer me the right way. Helped me get to Syracuse University. Like the person that got me into Syracuse University was a person from the youth center I went to. He steered the application. Like he directed me on where to go. Like these are the positive influences that guided Ryedell to be who Ryedell is.
You know, it's I know there are a couple of community people would say they're community leaders. I've witnessed it with Rashawn, where I feel like there's a lot of inner conflict between the different leaders in some ways. 'Cause I feel like something I really appreciate with Rashawn is that he doesn't speak ill of people. He just kind of moves on. But I hear people speak ill of him, and I'm like, I've never seen anything other than consistency from that man. I think that he's on point. He cares. He's one of the only people I see who still sheds tears in situations where there's no embarrassment. It's like there's no apathy. It's just it's still in him. Why do you think there is so much kind of infight and backbiting when the overall goal is still like these grander help kids, save lives, stop poverty, stop youth violence? Why is that? Why does that other element exist?
Because is that really the goal? Do you really want these things to stop? And if you really want these things to stop, your pride won't get in the way. That's why I think a lot of conflict actually happens, because the pride of man. We want to be the one on TV. We want to be the one to say we did it. We want to be the one that gets the credit. Speaking for I don't care about any of that. What is the common goal that we are here to do? But when you have people who want to be the head honcho or whatever you want to call it, the person in charge, these are the things that's going to happen. That's just saying, let's say if I have an issue with Rashawn, you won't know. The world won't know. I'm going to go speak to Rashawn. And that's how it should go if you are in leadership. If you're having an issue with someone else, or you don't like the way that they're doing things, because yes, everyone doesn't do the thing the right way. Even in religion. Just because you are in the pulpit don't mean that you're doing it the right way. Understandable. But I can go speak to you in private and have a conversation with you like, okay, I see that you're doing something this way. I don't think that's the best means of getting it done. But we shouldn't be having these things in public because it's starting to show the children, like, if our adults, if our leaders, if the people that we are supposed to look up to can't get along, how can we?
You know, something that gets spoken about a lot is from two different places, and like I find myself saying the terminology, and I feel like it's not correct, but like the gang violence. Like in a quick conversation, I'll say gang violence, but I feel like in a more nuanced conversation, it's like youth violence, and in a more nuanced conversation from that, it's like just poverty-driven violence. So I know that a lot of people I'll speak to will themselves say gang violence, but in the same sentence they'll say it's not gangs because they're not actually gangs. They're just groups of kids who grew up together in the same area. It's not like a Los Angeles or a Chicago. It's Syracuse has a different. It's not like an organized structure to any real gangs, but yet there are gangs. How would you describe it?
Not to get super spiritual and stuff like that. All I look at it is you have a bunch of people wanting to play God. You have a bunch of people who feel that I have the right to hurt you, harm you, and take your life. You have a bunch of people also who may not even be happy with themselves. So in order to ease some of the hurt that I have within myself, I got to go hurt someone else. I know everyone always hears the term hurt people, and that's what's going on. And that's been going on in wars in the 80s, the 70s, like hurt people. And that's all these children are doing. These children are hurt. These children aren't having the adequate amount of people around them that are helping them through what's bothering them. Like, I remember I was at a men's group a couple weeks ago, and everyone who hand I shook, the first thing I said to them, like, how you feeling today? No one would say how they feeling. Okay is not an answer. Like, how are you actually feeling? Like, I wonder how many of these children were like, how many times someone asks you that a week? How are you feeling? But being comfortable enough as well to say how I'm feeling without feeling that I'm being judged or you're going to use this against me. I had grown men who wouldn't even say how they feeling. So imagine a child who may feel like, hey, you might use this against me. Like, you may think I'm a punk. You may think I'm soft. You don't, like, these are the things, like, we just don't have, how can I say this? We're not having the right conversations with these children, trying to figure out, what do you actually need? And we got to realize as well, like, it's going to take time, it's going to take money, and it's going to take us volunteering that time. Because time is money, but sometimes we have to give that time for free in order to come to that common goal that we say we want. If we want to cease violence, if we want to have things better in our community, we're going to have to sacrifice something ourselves.
When you some of these kids, we were doing work up at Hillbrook at one point. I was interviewing some of the kids after they had been like sentenced innocent or guilty, and then based upon that, it was interviewing the kids for the judge to see these tapes to see a different side of them. And it was interesting to me that most of them, and I didn't catch on to it because it's not even a question I knew to ask in the beginning, but most of them said like they knew that they were going to die at some point and be killed, and there was no ends other than that eventually. And I thought, like, if I hadn't heard that from so many of them, I have no ability to gauge that. So I think if people hear that, they can't imagine it, so they just think, oh, that must be untrue. Who would think that? And I think it's a mentality that's so different from what I think most people could understand. That to not understand that, therein lies so many core fundamental issues that leads up to that point. How do you change a child's life who thinks I'm going to be killed at some point? There is no hope past that.
Like I said, the first thing you got to figure out is, why do you feel that way? Like, can they come to you? Can they really express why I do what I do? Why I feel in the way that I feel? If I shed tears in front of you, can I be comfortable enough to know that you're not going to take this and use this against me? And also, if we really want to be technical, like, a lot of our children don't have the right foundation in order to have these things. Like I said, my foundation with God was very important, even though in the times in which I have backslid or not always prayed and things like that, I knew my foundation. A lot of these children don't have a foundation to start with. The foundation that they are on is quicksand. And we know what quicksand does. The only way to get out of quicksand is with help. Because if you shift and you move in quicksand, you go down faster. These children are feeling alone. You are 14 to 17 years old. Well, I forgot the age bracket of Hillbrook. Saying that you feel that you are going to die. Yes, we all have to leave this earth, but for a child to feel like, I'm going to leave this earth early, it shows you the trauma that they are dealing with. And not to have anyone to talk to is the most hurtful part. And no one to be safe with. This is why a lot of these children are doing, they're acting out for attention. I remember a good friend of mine, people may know his name, we call him Noble. He said it's all a game until the judge slams the gavel. These people be in a trance doing all the stuff that they are doing until the judge says life. Then they wake up and realize, like, oh no, this wasn't a game. And this is what a lot of these children are experiencing. Like, this is not a game.
You know, there's so many issues that are intertwining, but I feel like to what something you're saying that not a lot of men I hear speak about this is the ability to be vulnerable and not for it to be considered like feminine in like a stereotypical negative way. And I feel like it's funny because culturally, racially, religiously, and across between whether it's Christians or Muslims or black or white or Vietnamese or all, there's a severe issue with like men have to be men, and that means don't cry, suck it up, deal with these things. And then we're dealing with like a time period where gender roles are very, very forefront. So like people are going to the extremes, and I feel like you hear a lot of these influencers who are very, very toxically male, just going. And I don't know, like, even people our age, even if I'm in like the wrong group or a group of people who are saying things, it's like I'm going to be less likely to say something in a vulnerable sense because I'm like, I'm not going to throw this out in this group right now. But I also feel like that's a lack of courage on my part, but it's also just a lack of patience on my part. But how do you? I'm sure that being surrounded with other men who will not do that, and then they're surrounding the youth. Like, how do you? What kind of conversations do you find yourself in with men in this space that allows them to kind of go there, or is it very difficult to reach them in that space?
See, with me, I'm very transparent with a lot of my male friends. So, like, if I am hurting, I'll let you know. I'll tell you. I done shed a tear or two in front of my male friends, and I am very comfortable with who I am. A lot of men have to understand that first we got to feel safe, and a lot of us don't. This is why a lot of this stuff is built up, and also just the idea of what a man is. Like, a lot of that was based on quicksand. Like, it's based on tough, don't cry. Like, yes, men do cry. So you're telling me when your mama died, you ain't gonna cry? If I'm going through something, if I'm going through a tough breakup or anything like that, I'm not gonna cry? Yes. I can get emotional as well. But I have to be comfortable enough to have those people around me who will allow that to happen and it stays there. I think that's one of the biggest problems that most men have when it comes to being vulnerable and being open is that will this get outside of my immediate people? Like, will anybody else know? Or are you gonna use that against me? Or, oh man, 2 years ago, man, you was crying in front of us. But that happens. What's that happen in confidence? Like,
Sure.
I think that's one of the biggest things that a lot of men they deal with. Like, they are uncomfortable with letting you in because they don't know if you are gonna use that against them. And I can agree with that mindset because no one wants to feel like anyone has one up on them. But I will also tell men, like, you have to get those relationships and get those people around you where you can feel comfortable with allowing your emotions out. Yes, you may have those female friends or females in your family that you can have those conversations with, but having those with men is a different it's a different level. Like, when you have those men that you can go to and really have that open dialogue and just tell them how you feel. Like I said earlier with the men, like, I don't ask you how you feel just to hear okay. Like, okay is not an answer. Like, what is okay?
Sure.
No, actually, how do you feel? And if you say, well, I'm not comfortable to say that, that's okay. But I actually do mean it when I ask you, how do you feel? Like, I want to really know. Because there may be something that I'm dealing with that you can help with or guide me somewhere. And it may be something that you feel that I can help you with.
I watched, I saw somebody sent me this and thought it was interesting. It was a guy that was talking about the need for platonic female friendships. They said, for the exact reason, they said with men, like, if you only hang out with guys, most of the time it's like the emotions and feelings, they don't really live in that space. But like with platonic female friends, like, there's an openness to have those conversations, to reach that space in you, to talk about things that you're just not going to talk about with guys. And the specific person that was talking about it said it was like suffocating not to have that part of him be able to live. And so I think that it's very much so an issue. But it's such a pervasive issue. It's like it's from traditions. Again, I think it crosses all boundaries between culture, faith, ethnicity, skin color. It's like, I don't know a large segment of any group of people that could be quantified as this group that does not suffer from like that extreme male mindset of just don't cry, don't do this. You need to be a guy, you need to be a man. And I think that how do you start overcoming that without going to the extreme other side of things where, you can still masculinity is just being redefined. It's not being taken away. You know what I mean?
What has helped me the most, and for any of the listeners, I don't know your religious background or anything like that. Jesus Christ wept when he lost a friend. So the person that came here, considered to be perfect, wept, which shows an emotion. One of the most masculine individuals wept. So you're telling me that it's wrong for me to do it? I'm no better than Jesus. I'm no better than God. So that emotion that he shared, why can't I? But it takes a level of being grown and like with me, like with studying and reading and things like that, just to be comfortable with it. Like, we're so worried about how others are going to feel with us weeping and stuff like that, but it helps you. That helps you. Because at the end of the day, when you go home and you're by yourself, you are by yourself. How do you feel about yourself? And that's the one thing that these children are struggling with. Like, they don't have those people to go to and be comfortable with, like an older gentleman, like, man, you ain't supposed to be crying. You ain't supposed. Why not? He's hurting. So now all that locked in emotion and all that stuff that you not allowing him to release, he's going to release it in a way that you ain't gonna like. Then you're gonna be mad at him. So now, if this young man goes out and do something wicked, you come to the court date and they ask the question like, why did you do it? What if you just say, because no one wanted to listen to me? Nobody wanted to hear how I was feeling. So like I said, with me, Jesus wept. So I don't see why men are very uncomfortable with doing it. But like I said, I don't have everyone's religious beliefs, so that's just on me.
No, I love that. I think that in the terms of faith-based belief systems, I think that if actions or advice or thoughts, if you can replace, Buddha or Jesus or Allah, if you can replace those names with the word love and it still makes sense, then that's accurate. Yes. If that makes sense.
And that's what it stands for. Like, really studying the word. I tell people, even if you don't believe in God or don't believe in Jesus, just listen to a lot of the messages. Just read about what he stood for. And it all centered around love. Yeah. Like an unconditional love I have for the people. That's something that even I struggle with, unconditional love, but you have an unconditional love.
I wonder, do you meet many peers that hold this belief system? Do you come across many people that kind of share this thought system with you?
I do. I'm starting to now. I guess, I'm not saying guess, but I'm starting to see a transition of a lot of people who are more comfortable with talking about their faith. Like, just talking about, like, because a lot of us grew up in it. It's just that once a lot of them got away from their parents, away from their grandparents, they just went another route. Like, and sometimes some people are suffering from church hurt. People have been hurt. But I also let people know is that a man hurt you. An individual hurt you. So you can't allow some experience that you may have had in faith deter you from the perfect aspect of it. Because you got to understand there are imperfect people in it trying to teach you about it. And sometimes they're not doing it the right way. So that may have caused a lot of people to fall away from them, like, oh, you call yourself a Christian and they're doing this, that, and the third. But just because you have a label, your fruits don't add up to the label. So let's just say, if I say, okay, I'm growing 10 apple trees, but when the trees are done growing, all you see is oranges. What are you going to call them? You're not going to call them apple trees. You're going to call them an orange tree because you are a reflection of the fruits that you produce.
Sure.
So if these people aren't producing the adequate fruit, they're not the adequate representation of the label that they're trying to carry out.
I 100% agree with that. I think in terms of faith, like I said, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, like whoever it might be, that's who your relationship should be with, not intermediary human beings, because that's where the damage gets done. That's where the misleading happens. That's where all the things like just start going wrong. And I think most of the major religions speak to that. People ignore those elements of it. It's like, this is not, I think one of my friends said, like, as soon as man gets involved, everything starts going sideways. So it's like, I would agree with that.
Because it's a prosperity, it's a prosperity gospel type of thing. Like, if you give this is what you get. Doesn't say that nowhere in the Bible. If you give $50, he's gonna give you back $1,000. Or if you do this, he's gonna. No, it doesn't say that. He just wants you to be obedient, obey, be disciplined, love first. Like, this is why I have been who I am. I love first. Even though people have done me wrong, I can have unconditional love for you. You just can't have unconditional access to me. So I can love you from a distance. I just can't be around you.
Sure. Can you move the mic? No, the mic. You can move it towards you. Just you're good. You can just. I don't want you to be uncomfortable. Just if you want to.
No,
this,
I'm
this
good.
is all. Do you? So you're a father.
Yes.
How did life change when you first had children?
How did life change? Life came less about me. Funny thing, the other day, me and my mom was just talking because one of the local bars I used to go to called Lois's, and she used to tell me, like, I remember when your son was little and he wanted his dad, and he called you while you were at the bar. You didn't hesitate to leave. You just got to the bar probably about 45 minutes. Your son called you and said, Dad, I want you to come home. I told my friends, I'm leaving. I'm going home. Once the children came, life wasn't about me anymore. Everything that I do from the day that they were born, it's always been about coming home to them every single day. For them to be happy with their father's actions. You may not love everything I say to you or try to make you do the thing that you need to do. I wanted them to respect everything that I do. I don't want your dad to be out here doing reckless things, putting your lives in jeopardy, or putting my life in jeopardy where I can't come home to you. I think that's a very selfish act. Even with people who may be quote unquote in the street in the gangs, once you have children, your children are supposed to come before everything. Like, I don't want to do anything that is going to cause me to miss one day of going home to my children.
It's it makes me think of Daquan Sullivan. I feel like that was a gentleman who you kind of felt like nothing was ever going to happen to him, and he had like moved past the things. He was doing positive things. He was being influential in the community stuff, and but you felt like that man was not going to, he was not going to ever be hurt. And I thought when he lost his life, I thought all lives lost are a tragedy, but I thought that was one where I thought that he just kept like an aura around him that would be protected, if that makes sense.
Yes, I understand exactly what you feel. That energy was always felt. Like, you understand, like, this goes back for him being on my mama back porch with me, us being in the top parking lot. People that know what that mean know what that mean. It's just the parking lot that's behind where my mom lived at. Like, this is the energy that he always had, just from growing up with him. So I definitely fully understand that energy. That man loved his children. Always talked about his children. Anything his children needed to get done, he's gonna do it. So that I definitely fully understand that aura that you're talking about. Like, he always had that energy when I was around him.
I just think if someone like that who's turned his life around 100%, he's out there doing amazing things, and then loses his life, that everybody's that risk lives for everyone, if that makes sense.
It's very hurtful because you have children now in the play. You have a wife that's in play. Like, these people have built a relationship with him other than what we have. Like I always tell my friends and who have wives and stuff like that, your wife sees you in a different way that I do. No one's seen him the way that his wife sees him.
Sure.
No one sees him the way that his children see him. So for that to get snatched away from them, that is something that I could never imagine. That's why I just say, like, everything that I did was to make sure I went home every night. Because I could never imagine me not being in my son's life, not being in my daughter's life. Like, I can't imagine that.
I'm sure you know Sharon Owens from like long-standing times.
Definitely.
I know that I feel like she was. I first met her when she was at the Southwest Center.
Yep, me too.
And I have hope that I believe that she will be the next mayor, but I have hope that this is someone who has experience, not intellectual. Like I can guess what something would be like, but like both intellectual and physical experience in things that I hope and I believe that she will bring to her position, if that makes sense.
Understandable.
But yeah, I was gonna ask you like what if you don't mind me asking, what's your opinion of Sharon and like what she's running for and the city of Syracuse in general, based upon that?
My opinion, very strong, very stern, very intellectual woman. Like I said, I have also met her when I was at Southwest. So really nothing bad to say. All I can say is that whoever wins, I just pray that when you get in, that no one ever forgets about the community. That's one of the biggest things. And I mean everyone, not just donors, not just supporters. I mean that everyone. Everyone should be in your mind when it comes to running your city. And that's not to slight anyone, but I feel that way for anyone who may win. I pray that she does win, because I do feel that she may be the best candidate for it. Understand about the time that you have spent in the city of Syracuse, especially being in the Southwest. Like you see the light a different way because of that side of town, because of that center. That center has a lot of heritage in it. A lot of individuals who are on these different sides of towns, their fathers, mothers, their grandparents, stuff like that, all were in that center. So that center has a lot of heritage. So with her being in that center, so she definitely has a lot of grassroots in the city of Syracuse. So yeah, I believe that she will be the perfect candidate just from looking at her background and her experiences.
What do you want for your kids in this life?
Whew. I want my children to put God first in every decision that they make. I want my children to be happy, healthy, peaceful. I'm not too concerned about the riches. I'm not too concerned about the popularity and stuff like that. I just want them to be happy with every decision that they make. I just want them to be comfortable. I just want them, like I said, just want them to be God-fearing individuals who put God first in every decision that they make. And I believe that once you do that, no matter, like I tell people, no matter your spiritual belief and stuff like that, once you have that, I believe your decision making will become a lot better. A lot of the things that you know that you're not supposed to do, you'll move. Like, I keep hearing this thing now, like how people want a God-fearing mate, a God-fearing man or a God-fearing woman. But I don't think a lot of people understand when you say God-fearing, that means that to the left may be fun, but I gotta go right. So if you really want that God-fearing, you gotta understand what that comes with. And that's one thing I do want for my children. And that's why I try to set the example of not doing certain things, not being in certain places, not being around certain people, making sure I come home, making sure that they don't see me in a certain type of way. Like, it's a lot of things that I just want my children to be like, okay, my father isn't just talking about it. He's actually leading with it with his fruits that he are producing.
What we see each other at Elevate now.
Yes.
We're over at the gym. You said that your health is getting a lot better. Like you
Yes.
just kicked it in.
Yes. A lot of it started last year. I went to the doctors in February 2024. They tried to put me on some medicine. Me and medicine don't agree, but I took the prescription. But after I took that prescription, I used one of the pills, and it just tore my insides up. I'm talking about like diarrhea, everything. So I spoke to an individual, and he told me, he said, Rydell, just pray, pray, pray. So through prayer, fasting came to my mind. So for most of 2024, I fasted a lot. So I will only do between 3 to 4 solid meals a week. But a lot of people didn't know. Like, I never bragged about it, never talked about it. I just did it. So when I went back to the doctor in August 2024, he's like, Rydell, you lost some weight. The pills must be working. I said, oh, yeah. And I went back in, I believe it was, no, I went back in February 2025 this year. He said, yo, you lost another 53 pounds. He said, yo, them pills. I said, I took them pills one time. He's like, what do you mean? I said, I started to fast. Because I never went to the gym until February of this year, 2025. The majority of it was through fasting. Like, I told myself, if I wasn't going to do the correct things in the kitchen, working out, I wasn't going to want to do it. So, like I said, I started to eat better, started to be more consistent with what I was doing. Like, I always been the person that gets up early in the morning and stretch and my prayers and my meditation, stuff like that. But I had to go the extra step. So now just working out, you can just feel it. Like I said, when I'm in the gym, I do some studying, I do some reading, I listen to scriptures, I do stuff like that. So it has definitely been my space to learn and grow. A long while I am just doing better, like physically, and also like with my brothers. I call them my brothers. We always send text back and forth. One of my brothers just did 5 miles on the treadmill this morning. Like, he sent me a message this morning. Like, it's encouraging just to see, and we're not bragging about it. Like, I don't want to go on social media and post about it. Like, this is within each other. Just talking about it within each other. Like, the results is going to be shown within ourselves. Like, this is not to get any type of fandom or things like that. It was just something that I know that I had to do for the longevity of myself.
I love that. Do you I run into some of the Nottingham guys. I see you know L, obviously,
Yes.
Larry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like when we were in high school, like that dude would like go like this and his arm would pop out, and you're like, how do I get that? Like, but I see him there like lifting. I feel like our age range is starting to kind of go back to the gym, not for like a flex, but for like respecting our bodies, respecting our health. If that makes sense.
Yes. I was in that point where I didn't, especially with not working, but running my business. I was just a glutton. Like, I was just eating stuff just to eat it, not really taking care of my body the right way I needed to. And it was just all on me. Like, no one else, no other influences was happening. It just was me, just being selfish to my body, just being selfish to myself and stuff like that. Like, right now, if I drink, it's probably going to be some wine, but even that, like, I lost the urge for a lot of it because I just want to get better with myself. Like, it's no point of making the money if you're going to die too early to enjoy it.
Sure. It's interesting that you talk about fasting. I did my first Ramadan this year, and there's no eating from sun up to sundown, and by like the second week, my skin had cleared up. Things that I deal with, like that I've dealt with since I was like 18. I'm like, I've taken like like acne thing and this and like I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And then you start really appreciating water, and you're like, oh, when this is over with, I'm still gonna appreciate water, and you fall back into like DoorDash. But I mean, it's but I do think it's interesting. Like there's so many faith-based practices that are so health specific, not just spiritually, but just physically. But yeah, fasting is one of those things that never appealed to me. I'm like, I have zero desire to fast, guys. And then doing that, your body just acclimates, and you're like, I see immense value in that. So
yeah, like I seen my level of thinking, my level of like understanding what I read, all became better during this period. And I wasn't even to be on nothing biblical or faith. It was just like I have to stop eating.
Yeah.
Like one guy told me, he said, you have to starve your body to lose the weight. Like, how do you think you lose weight?
Yeah.
You don't lose weight by eating.
Unfortunately, that's true. Yes.
So, and then it was funny. I seen this thing with Cam Newton, and he was like, you go in the mirror, you look this way, you look that way. And he said, you do it 2 more times. So he said, then when you get to that mirror, do the same thing you did when you looked in that mirror and just do this. Saying no.
I love that.
And it was funny, but fasting was just something that it was just something that just said do it. So the longest I did was 3 days. I just did 3 days just all water. That was the longest that I did without no food. But other than that, like I said, I would do 3 to 4 solid meals a week, and everything else would be either some fresh juices that I make. So when I did those, a lot of water. Other than that, it was just, my goal was just to be able to just be comfortable with walking better, being doing more things with the children and stuff like that. Like, so now when we go out of town, come on, y'all keep up with me now. Like, let's go have some fun. Like, I ain't want to go to a lot of the amusement parks and stuff like that because they had to do a lot of walking. Now, let's go.
Okay, I love that.
Let's go.
Yeah. I'm sure that they love that too.
Oh,
That's
yeah. They definitely love it, and they see the difference as well. Like my son, he pays close attention to his father. Like he just watching. He's like, Dad, you don't ever snore. I'm like, what? He said, yeah, I used to snore really bad, Dad. He said, you don't snore anymore. And all it, like, this wasn't even my goal for none of this stuff. It's just this other stuff that happens as you begin to take better care of yourself.
I love the faith and the physical and the whole well-rounded kind of approach that I think hopefully takes over for some people in their lives. If you don't mind me asking, so Christian or Catholic, or how would you define that?
I am a follower of God. People, like, I'm very technical. I don't believe in it. Not that I don't believe in it, but we'll be here forever if we really talk about like Christianity and stuff like that. Like, I believe Christianity was something that man made, but I believe that we are supposed to live holy, which it states in the Bible. Be ye holy, for God is holy.
I feel like I keep saying I love that, but it's I think there's all different people of same faiths, different faiths, and you can have more in common with somebody of a different faith than you do of people with your own faith. I think,
definitely.
I like that your mindset is that. I feel like what you're kind of saying, and if I'm misinterpreting, please correct me, but I feel like you're not caught up on the details or the specifics that I think kind of lead people astray, but you're caught up on the plot of the story, the main plot.
I'm caught up on following from Genesis to Revelations and what it states in between. There's nowhere in there where it says Christianity or any other religion. Like, lots of people don't understand that the word Christian was actually a derogatory term. It's like calling a black person the N-word during slavery. Because Christian was those people who follow Christ. You see what they did with Christ. So it was really actually a derogatory term. But a lot of people don't understand that. This is why you have to do the proper research, the proper knowledge. Because that's why I said, I'm just a follower of God and Jesus Christ. Because a lot of the terms that we use were not made from Jesus or God. So
Is there anything else you'd like to say today or put out there?
nothing really, man. It was a good time, man. I just want my city to be better. That's really it. Like, I really enjoy being here. I enjoy, like, even with a lot of the things that's going on, I see a lot more positive events going. I see a lot more, even with the nightlife. Like, there's one gentleman who does this R&B event, and those have been going wonderful, and I love it. Because you always hear that there's nothing here for us, there's nothing for us to do. I believe it's a lot for us to do if we act accordingly. Like, if we just do what we're supposed to do, being adults, and go out and have a good time and go home, we can have a lot. It's just that sometimes people don't understand that the consequences to your actions can be minute or it can be extreme.
Sure.
It can be a fight in the club, could be where we can, okay, the party ended, or that fight in the club can be where we can never have this event again.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me a. I usually don't try to dictate this question, but let me put it this way: something that isn't faith related, but what is something that you would put out to the world just from Rydell and life, like the life experiences? Something you want to throw out there?
Be comfortable with being who you are, because at the end of the day, that's the only person that you really got to look in the mirror at. Love you, and once you love you, whoever don't, that's who you stop giving unlimited access. You stop allowing them to have unlimited access to you.
So I'm going to see you elevate then.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That'll be great. Well,
Yes,
I really appreciate you doing this.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. I definitely appreciate it. Like I told you, man, I've been watching a couple of them. So it was definitely just great experience just watching it and just seeing how a lot of the people open up about a lot of the things that they dealt with. It's sad that some of it was around death and stuff like that, but we have to understand that these is the consequences that are going on in our city, and that was just showing the effects of what goes on with this violence that is happening.
Yeah, I think we could do a whole other podcast about that subject. But,
yeah, definitely, man. And like I said, anytime you need me, man, just let me know.
Okay. Well, thank you. Let me get a quick picture of you, okay?
Oh, yes,
just right there. Let me just have this. Hold on.